Hey you guys, so I'm back again with another message from the Lord. This particular message God dropped in my spirit, but He wants me to share too about some of my experiences. But during this season, we're gonna start to see like a lot of breakups like never before. I know I had said in a previous message that we was going to see the ugly truth about people, but during this time of judgment, we're going to start to see a lot of breakups like never before because a lot of people are married to or in relationships with people that are counterfeits, that are people that have not been ordained by God. And I can talk about that from my personal experience of me being married to someone that was in ministry, was an elder on paper, but was not an elder in spirit, and really was not my ordained spouse. And so we're going to see a lot of people, like I said, go through a lot of breakups during this time. And a breakup, it is hard, but a breakup can be a blessing. All right. And that's why it's very important. It's very imperative that in every area, every season of our life, we seek God. We ask God to give us confirmations. We ask God to show us ourselves, show us the things we need to work on, show us who our spouses are in the spirit. That way we can be able to discern, because the devil will come as a wolf in sheep clothing. A wolf in sheep clothing. He will disguise himself. He will masquerade himself as someone that is not a counterfeit, only to reveal themselves later. But like I said, we are going to start to see a lot of breakups during this season, during this hour. Um, and some of y'all, God might even be telling y'all, the people that y'all are with, y'all need to separate yourself from. Whoever God has in store for you will add to your life, not subtract from your life. And God had told me this whenever I was transitioning out of my marriage, and I was kind of confused into why this was happening. But God was saying, whoever I sent to you was going to add to you, not subtract from you. And whenever I really went through the healing process, I was able to understand more what He was trying to tell me. The person that God has for you, truly ordained for you, He's going to be a person like God said, He will add and not subtract. He will already be a provider, a protector, a leader. Women are to be helpmates. We're not supposed to build men. They are already supposed to come build. We are just supposed to help them implement the vision. That's it. So if you find yourself being with someone and you have to build them up and help them get to the place that they want to be, then 9 times out of 10, that person is probably not your husband. Because even in the Bible, when God took me back in the Bible about the different men in the Bible, they were already established. They were already set up to receive wives. All right, back in the day, or in the biblical days, it was against the law for a man to marry someone if he wasn't financially stable, if he wasn't able to take care of that his wife and his children. He couldn't marry until he was financially ready to do so. Um, so that's the same thing with men in this day and time that God has called His kings in this hour. They have to be mentally ready. They have to be spiritually ready. They have to be physically ready and financially ready in order to receive a wife. It's stages to this. So when we find ourselves as women trying to build a man up to be what he wants to be, we are really out of order because we're not supposed to do that. All right. And that's why we are coming into relationships with men that are jealous of us because they're not where they need to be at. And I'm saying that from my own personal experience. And then when you come in and you build up a man who's not already where he needs to be at, it kind of deters you and stop you from working on the things that you've been working on, that God has called you to work on. For example, with me, whenever I had got married to my ex-husband, it was all about him and his kids. Like, I literally had to put my life on hold for him and his children. I was trying to birth the nonprofit then. The nonprofit just came into fruition this year. It was like a lot of things that God had me working on that I stopped working on in order to focus on him and the kids, because it was about him and the kids. It wasn't about what God had me working on. And that's another thing too that God was telling me, want me to come and share with his daughters. when God send you someone, He's gonna occur the person that He send you, He's gonna encourage you and uplift you and tell you to continue to work on the things that God has called you to work on, because He know that's part of your mission. He know that's part of your assignment here on this earth. He's not going to deter you from that. Well, my ex-husband was deterring me from a lot of things. My ex-husband had even told me that I was too high as far as level wise, and I need to come down to his level. And we were, and then now that I thought about it, like, I'm like, well, God, well, we were really unequally yoked because we wasn't on the same level. And then he was trying to bring me down to a lower level, which I would have never been on that level because I had too much knowledge, wisdom, and education and understanding. So I will never be down on that level. But he wanted me to dummy myself down to his level so he could feel good about himself, because he didn't have no drive. He didn't have no ambitions, or he was lying to me and telling me that he was going to go and complete all these different things, but he didn't. Okay, so whoever God has for you is going to encourage you. It's going to motivate you to work on the things that God has called you to work on. You guys, I have a particular friend, and we don't talk often, but every now and again they will check up on me. They will send me a text message and stuff, and we will, update each other about the things that we're working on that God has called us to. And this person will really like encourage me, like, keep going, keep going, keep going. Like, what you are doing is well needed. Like, this is well needed in our community. Keep going. Yeah, I never experienced that in a relationship. And when it's a God-ordained relationship, when it's a person that is meant to be in your life, they will encourage you to do the will of the Father. They will encourage you to work the assignments. I cannot tell you guys how many people that I know personally that has gotten married and got the marriage promise, but stopped doing what God has called them to do within ministry, and now they're miserable because you had laid down what God has called you to lay down. Well, you had laid down what God had called you to work on and to pursue a marriage that really is not a God ordained marriage. You just wanted a marriage promise, but now that you got the promise, you forgot about God. You forgot about your ministry. Now it's all about you building up your spouse, and you're building up what your spouse want to do, and that's against the will of the Father. When God send you someone, y'all gonna complement each other. Y'all gonna work together. Like, y'all gonna be doing kingdom business and assignments together, and y'all stuff will mirror each other. So the different things that God has you working on, and the different things that God has your spouse working on, that will basically complement each other. Okay, and y'all can help each other doing that. But when you meet someone that's deterring you from doing the will of the Father, and that's causing you to stop doing the things that you used to do to please your Heavenly Father, we have to really sit back and reflect and say, okay, is this really for me? Because instead of this drawing me closer to God, it's drawing me further away from God. And God said, I am a jealous God. He will have no other man before him. And that includes our spouse. Like, a lot of people, like I said, that's how you can really kind of tell when people start idolizing marriages. Because once they get the marriage promise, they forget about God. It's like, me and my spouse, or me and my wife, we're going to do whatever we want to do. We're not going to do the will of the Father. And that's not of God. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. In this season, we're going to see like a lot of breakups in this season, in this hour. Part of judgment too, but it's also because a lot of God's chosen people are with people that are not ordained for them, and it's pulling them away from God. It's drawing them away from God, or drawing them away from the assignments and the projects that God had told them to work on and do during this season, during this hour. So in order for God to get a person back to where he wants them to be, he will strip you. He will strip you from people, places, and things that don't serve you. I am a living witness, okay? So just want to come encourage y'all. We're going to see a lot of breakups in this season. If this is you, and you know you're not in a God-ordained relationship or marriage, you might want to go on a fast and ask God, God, is this really for me? Like, what do I need to do? Because I'm telling you, we are in a season, in a time where God is not playing. Judgment is here, and I'd rather God send his son Jesus back and find you working in your assignments, because delayed obedience is still disobedience. All right. And then you don't want to come back. You don't want Jesus to come back and find you not doing what you're supposed to be doing, not doing the will of the Father. All right. All that stuff matters when it comes to marriage, when it comes to relationships. So do what God has called you to do, guys, in this hour. Stay encouraged. All right. I love you guys. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will chat with you all later.